This appears to be live. I do not know whether the quality is very good. We're going to give it a try though. In the previous videos we looked at the characters that we're going to be using. Akihito the Monk, Fenton the Bard, Gothram the Ranger, Yerrick the Cleric. That's an unfortunate rhyme that I didn't realise that I had. Rinya the Wizard, and Valdis the Rogue. And we're playing a short demo adventure called Into the Darkness. I couldn't really find the exact release date of this adventure. Let's have a quick look to see. I believe it's 2000, obviously, and on the back of the product it does actually advertise the player's handbook. So I presume that it came out before the player's handbook did, but that I don't know exactly. Let's see if we can find it into the darkness. No, I cannot right now. Never mind. Needless to say that it's a very simple 3-room dungeon that's supposed to basically introduce the game to new players. I'm not sure if it's actually designed for a first level party. It doesn't really seem to indicate what level is suitable for this. And in the instructions near the back, it does talk about, for example, the rogue doesn't lose their dex bonus to AC when flat-footed, which is is that evasion or uncanny dodge? That's it. Which is the 3rd level ability. So whether this is designed for a 3rd level party, I'm not sure, but we're running it with a 1st level party. Obviously, I can see what's going to happen. So as you can see, this is Roll20, which I think most people are familiar with. I'm using some lighting just for a bit of immersion. We've got Rinya and Yerrick both carrying hooded lanterns, and Gothram has dark vision, being a dwarf. I did mention that I wanted to do a kind of theatre of the mind style experimentation, but that would have been very uninteresting to watch, so that's why I've got the Roll20 with the rooms showing and everything. So, also I'm going to be rolling dice physically on the desk in front of me rather than on Roll20, which again might not be particularly interesting, but I will report what I have rolled and I will not cheat either. There's no point in cheating against myself in a game that I'm playing by myself. But we'll get started with the introductory text. You have finally discovered that which you've sought, an entrance into the ruins where the brigand Holg and his followers are hiding. The half-orc marauder has robbed and assaulted dozens of travellers on the Great North Road, and it's time to put a stop to it. You are here to find Holg and end his reign of terror. You now stand outside a door that will lead you to Holg. What do you want to do? I'm thinking of, at some point, maybe developing a fairly basic random table to simulate decision choices for various things, such as, if a character comes across a door, you roll a dice, and that tells you how they deal with the door. Whether they inspect it for traps, kick it open, listen at the door, that sort of thing. But we're not going to worry about that too much now. We're going to start off with Valdis, the rogue, is going to have a listen at the door. Let's just check our listen skills for everybody to see who is the most proficient. We've got a +2 from Akihito. Oh yeah, senses are at the top here. +3 from Fenton. Gothram +6, Yarrick +4, Rinya +2, Valdis +8. So he is actually the most proficient with listening, which is good. So he's going to listen to the door. So we got a 24. Very good, rolling a 16 there. Now, unfortunately, as the room is called The Silent Dead, the player characters who want to listen at the door must make a listen check. But they cannot hear the undead on the other side regardless of their roll. So, having listened at the door, nothing is heard, and Valdis will do a inspection of the door itself to see if it is trapped, giving it an 18, spot of +8, 26. One of the things that might be apparent while we're playing is my mental arithmetic is very slow, so working out dice rolls on the fly will either be slow or full of mistakes. We'll see. He searches the door, finds no traps, but finds that it is locked. He's going to attempt an open lock check. What I'm going to do, actually, let me get another sheet of paper because I want to track time. This folder is it? It may be worth me doing a link to my time tracking folders, time tracking files. Let's randomly determine what time of day they are approaching this dungeon. It's going to be 8 o'clock in the morning. So, the way that I will do timing with, I think I've got written down on a Ravenloft product a kind of basic outline of how long things can take, and roughly they're about 5 minutes. If you want to talk to an NPC, it's about 5 minutes. If you want to open a lock, it's about 5 minutes. And we'll look in the player's handbook to see, for example, searching. I think it's maybe 1 minute per 5 feet, something like that. Let's look that up for now. Let's see. So we'll go to the search skill. Okay, check. You generally must be within 10 feet of the object or surface to be searched. It takes 1 round to search a 5 foot by 5 foot area. 1 round. 6 seconds to search 5 feet. That's interesting in how quick that is. Now I know obviously if you take 20, then it increases the amount of time by 20, I think. So instead of taking 6 seconds, it would take 2 minutes if you were to take 20, but still 6 seconds to search something is well, it doesn't seem right. I might maybe take a look at the. Well, no, we're sticking with the 3rd edition rules. I'm not going to make any modifications at this point, but yeah, it seems very quick. Well, why don't we look up at the same time how long it takes to open a lock? Open lock. Opening lock entails 1 round of work and a successful check. So that's 6 seconds as well. 5 minutes that I like to use in my other games. Never mind. Well, Valdis is going to attempt to open the lock. He rolls a 3. His open lock is 7. That gives him 10 in total. That means he fails. We'll see, is there a possibility of taking 20 when opening a lock? Let's take a look at the skills. Taking 20 when you have plenty of time, generally 2 minutes for a skill that can normally be checked in 1 round. There you go, I didn't need to do the maths myself. 1 full round action or 1 standard action, and when the skill being attempted carries no penalties for failure, you can take 20. In other words, eventually we'll get a 20 if you roll long enough. Instead of rolling 1d20 for the skill check, calculate your result as if you had rolled a 20. Taking 20 means you are trying until you get it right. Taking 20 takes about 20 times as long as making a single skill check would. So I don't think there's any downside to taking 20 with the rogue. So we'll say that it takes 2 minutes. If he rolls a 20, that means that he's going to get 27, and the DC for opening the lock is 20. So he will do that. What I'm going to do is mark off 5 minutes on my timer. So the long and short of it is that, in fact, it did take as long as I was planning it to take. Great, so the door has been unlocked. They believe that there's nothing in there. Valdis informs the rest of the party that the door has been unlocked, and he carelessly opens it, expecting nothing to be visible on the other side. Let's take a look at what we have written for the room. There are 4 skeletons and 2 zombies in the room. Holg created these undead minions with a spell from a scroll and stationed them here to protect his lair. So, as far as I'm aware, they're not lying on the floor. Valdis, without a light source, can actually see inside the room. So though he opens the door to peer in, he cannot see anything. We'll roll initiative anyway for our zombie down here, and we'll add a roll initiative. So zombies, initiative -1, I rolled a 16, so that gives us a 15 for the zombies. Skeletons, we rolled an 18, they get +5, that's 23, 4, 9. Next we have Fenton, rolling a 17 +1, 18. Then Gothram, 16 +2, 18. Rolls a 3 +4 for 7. And Valdis himself rolls a 7. He gets +7, so that makes 14. So Valdis is currently unaware of anything in there as the silent undead creep towards him. The first skeleton makes a move towards Valdis, a simple 5-foot step, and Valdis, peering into the room, seeing nothing in the darkness, suddenly has a skeletal hand fly out of the doorway to grab at him. So let's see what the skeletons are like here. Right, attack 0. He will get 2 attacks because he took only a 5-foot step. Now I haven't combat for 3rd edition, so I'm wondering how many accidental Pathfinder rules I'm going to be using. Let's quickly go to the attack section of the player's handbook. And we'll take a look at the attack actions. The attack action is a standard action. You can move and then make a single attack, or attack and then move. Where do we have about multiple attacks? Here we go. Multiple attacks. A character with more than one attack per round must use the full attack action in order to get more than one attack. And of course, the full attack allows only a 5-foot step. So, as expected, the skeleton gets +0 on his rolls. Valdis is armor class 13 only. Is that correct? Should he have some armor? I might have made a mistake here, Valdis. He should have some studded leather armor. So his armor class should actually be 16. So there's a slight error there. Let me just mark that on my paper here. So, studded leather, which gives him +3. So his armor class should actually be 16, which means his flat-footed armor class is 13. We'll see how many other characters I've missed the armor from. Let's see. Fenton, he doesn't have any armor, I think. Halfling Bard, no. Yerick the Cleric, he's got studded leather. Surprisingly, I rolled very badly with the money for the Cleric, so he could only afford some studded leather. That is included. Armor class 15 for him. Rinja obviously doesn't have armor, being a wizard, and Gothram the Ranger, he should have studded leather as well. And it looks like that is included. So it's only a mistake with Valdis that we made for the armor there. I will correct that for next time. So, armor class 16 then, we're looking for. +0 on the rolls for the skeletons. We got 1 hit there, so one of the claws reaches out, deals 1d4 damage to Valdis. That's 1 point of damage. Valdis cries out in pain as the claw scratches at him. The other skeletons, I suppose, will advance towards the door to Valdis, I believe. So let's just have a quick look. Cover. Fighting around a corner or a tree, standing at an open window behind a creature of the same size. We'll use that, I think. Well, we've got attack roll modifiers, actually. Do we have something about being behind or around the corner of a door? For now, let's just say 1/2 cover, fighting around a corner. So that's going to give +4 to the armor class. So that's actually going to make armor class 20 for Valdis. So neither of those other skeletons hit. And these other skeletons are going to just move up slightly here. Fenton hears the cry of shock from Valdis, but being quite far at the back, he's unable to do anything. So he will actually delay until after Akihito goes. Let's just have a quick look at the rules for delaying, which I presume are the same as... Yep, so delay. Let's see where that is. Obviously, I should have read the whole combat section, but it is of it is quite long. And actually picking up on the exact differences between this and 3.5 and Pathfinder, I think, are going to be a little bit tricky. So it's best if we take a look at each of the things as they come along. I haven't so far found the delay action list, miscellaneous actions. No. Let's go to the index and see if we can find it. No index here for some reason. But I do seem to have a glossary. So delay, a miscellaneous action that lowers a character's initiative result, thereby allowing some period of observation before any action is attempted. Delay is announced when it is the character's turn to act, but the amount of delay need not be specified. Interesting. The character may simply act at any initiative count desired before the end of the round. The character may simply act at any initiative count desired before the end of the round. However, delaying reduces that character's initiative result to the count at which the delayed action occurs for the rest of the combat. An initiative result can be lowered in this way to -10 minus the character's initiative bonus, but when the initiative count reaches that point, the character must act or forfeit any action that round. If two or more delaying characters want to act on the same initiative count, the one with the highest initiative bonus or highest dexterity in case of a tie acts first. If two or more delaying characters are trying to act last, the one with the highest initiative bonus may do so. So, as far as I can tell from that description, delaying means that the character only needs to say that they are going to delay, but not when they are actually planning on acting. Oh, delay. It's actually here. Well, anyway, Fenton is going to act after Akihito, so for simplicity he's going to move down to 8. So Gothram gets to act next. He's going to move up here, drawing his axe and short sword and attacking around the corner right here. So we're going to do the same with cover here for the skeleton. The skeleton gets a +4 bonus to his armor class. The armor class of the skeleton is 13, so that goes up to a 17. So Gothram, he's got a battle axe and a short sword. Now, one of the things that wasn't clearly done on this sheet that we need to remedy is that the -2 penalty to attacking with 2 weapons was not included. He will therefore maybe just do a single attack with his axe to get that +4 bonus. He misses completely. And next, the zombies act with their partial actions. This one's going to step towards the door. This one is going to wait here. Valdis is going to make his attack. Well, I would say that his weapon would be drawn, though I didn't specify that. But in my imagination, the weapon is drawn as he's opening the door. So he's going to make a short sword attack against armor class 13. So he needs to roll a 10. He rolled a 19, which is a possible critical with the short sword. But, unfortunately, in 3rd edition, you cannot critical undead. He deals 1d6 damage plus 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. He actually kills this skeleton. Congratulations. That is the first kill. Goes to the rogue. And he's actually going to take a step here to sort of allow Gothram to get into the room. Akihito is able to pass through Rinya, through Gothram, moving 20 feet here. And to avoid any attacks of opportunity, he's going to simply try and make an attack at this skeleton. Although, can he actually see that? There's still no light in the room. So Valdis, I suppose, would have just been able to see the skeleton. Maybe he would have got a little bit more cover, that skeleton. But it was a critical hit anyway, mostly, so I think that's fine. I suppose, without being able to see... See, this is the good thing about having this lighting on Roll20. Because it calculates things nice and quickly for you. Gothram, if we move him here, because he's got dark vision, he would actually be able to see into the room. Akihito. Right, well, let's have a look at Aid Another in 3.0. Aid Another. In combat, you can help a friend attack or defend by distracting or interfering with an opponent. If you're in a position to attack an opponent, which he's not, so we won't worry about that. But if he were, you attack against armor class 10, and if you succeed, you give a +2 bonus to the attack or armor class. Never mind. I guess we can try a ready action. If we move Akihito here, see how ready actions work in 3rd edition. The ready action lets you prepare to take an action later after your turn is over, but before your next one has begun. Readying is a standard action, so you can move as well. It does not provoke an attack of opportunity. So only partial actions can be readied. To do so, specify the partial action you will take and the conditions under which you will take it. Now, partial action, what does that constitute? Partial action. So an attack, a melee attack, is a partial action. I presume that it's an old word for standard action. We've got partial action and full action, I suppose. So Akihito, moving here, will attack any enemy that actually goes into the space ahead of him. Fenton still cannot do too much. Everything's blocked at this door, really, but Rinya maybe should move forward to provide a little bit more light for people to see by. Doesn't help very much, but it will illuminate that. Let's just put this one to the back. This one will move here to get a better attack at Gothram, and as he does, sorry, not Gothram, Akihito. As he does, Akihito can make his attack, so he's got an unarmed striker +1 bonus, fairly pitiful, but against armor class 13. Nope, he rolls 10, so getting 11 in total. So the attack misses, but the skeleton itself can get 2 attacks. Akihito's armor class is 13, That's 2 hits from the skeleton. I'm going to have to go back to check. Might have to take a step back here. Valdis, his short sword is piercing. Skeletons are not damaged by piercing weapons. So in fact, we'll take a step back here then. This skeleton is still alive. Akihito would not have read it in action. He would have simply attacked that skeleton, missing. The same skeleton now has attacked Akihito, hitting with both and dealing 2d4 damage with his 2 claws, totaling 4. Akihito has 9 hit points. Now these 2 skeletons around the corner, they can attack at Akihito with both their claws, but he gets a +4 bonus for being around the corner, which makes 17. So, first one, the top skeleton, he misses both attacks, and the bottom skeleton, he misses as well. Not going too well. Gothram, he's going to attack around this corner, this time with his axe and his... No, the short sword will do nothing. The battle axe is a slashing weapon. It's only going to deal half damage. Let's just check actually if the short sword does count as piercing or slashing. Short sword is piercing. And battle axe is slashing. So he's only going to deal half damage if he hits. He rolls a 13. +4 for 17. But the skeleton has armor class 13 +4 for the cover. So it does actually hit. That's 1d8 +3 damage. And then halved. 6 + 9. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5, and you round down for 4 damage. That skeleton is on 2. The zombies. Still nothing, really. They're just waiting, I suppose. Maybe they would pile up against the door, but this is generally going very badly because of this bottleneck here and the lack of light. Valdis, however, he can't do much. Now, I suppose that the fact that he attacked with his sword, that nothing seemed to happen, that he would know that his sword is basically useless against the skeletons. On his attack, which he will do now. And do we want to try a Flurry of Blows? It is 2 attacks at -1. Yeah, I suppose we'll try it. He's getting +2 on his attacks, so it's going to be +1 against armor class 13. Both miss. Now then, what do we have in terms of skills here? He has +5 tumble. What can actually be achieved with the tumble skill? Obviously, next round he would have to do something if he wanted to. But tumble... So, DC 25 tumble check allows you to go through enemy squares without attacks of opportunity, but that's quite a high DC. He's got +5 bonus. Yeah, not going to be doing that anytime soon. Obviously, this would be much easier if the map wasn't only a 5-foot corridor here. I suppose you were supposed to go into the room before the undead attack potentially, but this is how we're rolling now. Now Fenton actually can begin doing his Inspire Courage. So let's have a quick look at how Inspire Courage actually works. So a bard with 3 or more ranks in Perform can use Song or Poetics to inspire courage in his allies, bolstering them against fear and improving their combat abilities. So to be affected, an ally must hear the bard sing for a full round. Yep, fine. The effect lasts as long as the bard sings, and for 5 rounds after the bard stops singing. While singing, the bard can fight, but cannot cast spells, activate magic items by spell completion, such as scrolls, or activate magic items by magic word. So it's +2 moral bonus on saving throws against charm and fear, and a +1 moral bonus to attack and weapon damage rolls. Interesting, it is a +1 bonus. It implies in here that it is a +2 moral bonus on attack and damage rolls, so that's slightly wrong there. Now, do I want to check the errata for this to see whether there is an error here? +1 moral bonus on attack and weapon damage rolls. Page 28. Do I have the errata to hand? Let's do a quick search for that, because I think that's worth looking up. Place handbook errata. Right, do we have... No, that's the 3.5 errata. Apologies for this. Bear with me. Place handbook corrections. No, I don't see anything here. So I'm going to presume it is only a +1 bonus. We're going to mostly go by the book. So Fenton begins singing. Rinya, does he want to cast any spells or anything? What does he have prepared? Now, Mage Armor, what is the duration of that? Mage Armor. One hour per level, so he may as well cast that. That's going to give him a +4 bonus to armor class, and it's going to last for 1 hour. So we'll do a little mark on our sheet at 9 o'clock. Mage Armor. Probably something that should have been cast before the door was even opened. Okay, Yerrick the Cleric. Unable to do much at the moment, but the turn Undead is going to be very useful if he ever gets into the door. Skeletons. So, got this skeleton here. He's going to attack Akihito with his 2 claw attacks. Akihito's armor class is 13. So, nothing. We rolled a 1 as well. We're not going to use any fumbles at the moment because it's not in the book, but that would be interesting. And then these 2 other skeletons flanking the door, they're going to need 17s to hit. Or miss. Gothram. He's going to attack round the corner with his great battle axe again. So he's going against armor class 17, which he does actually make. He rolled a 13 plus 4, 17, so he deals 10 points of damage. That's going to kill the skeleton. Dead and dead. And I don't think he's going to do much else, but unfortunately the zombie is going to walk forward. They get to take only partial actions. Let's see how it's actually described, because maybe they can do a 5-foot step. Zombies have very poor reflexes. Unlike most creatures, they can move or attack during the action. They cannot do both. I'm going to have a quick look at the monster manual, because I'm not sure whether the 5-foot's moving. Let's go to the player's handbook and see what a 5-foot step actually counts as. I think a 5-foot step is a free action. I'm sure that they could bonus to the attack against Akihito, armor class 13. So we rolled a 9 plus 2, 11, so it is a miss. The other zombie is going to sort of... And Valdis is... well, he's actually going to make an attack against the zombie. Last time that he gave the little bit of help to Akihito, I think. Let's take a look. He's got +3 bonus. The zombie will get a +4 bonus for being around the corner. But he's going to try and attack anyway. He rolls a 17 +3 for a 20. That's going to hit the zombie. Do the zombies have a sort of damage reduction sort of thing, like the skeletons do? I don't believe so. Yeah, so it's just going to be normal damage. That's 1d6 +3, as Valdis has very high strength for a rogue. 4 damage to this zombie. They have a lot of hit points for these early levels. Akihito, he'll try another Flurry of Blows at -1, so he gets a 12 and a 10. Does hit. So he deals 1d6 back. Because of... need to remember this. We're doing +1 damage. So that's +1 from Akihito and +1. Meaning that this zombie is actually on 3. Fenton's going to continue singing Rinya. Akihito having +4 to his armor class, making it 7 good. And he doesn't have too many ways of escaping at the moment. Gotham's going to swing his battle axe again at the zombie. He misses miserably, and the zombie is going to try and pummel at Akihito again. So, he gets 1 slam attack. He rolled a 3, plus 2 is 5, that's a complete miss. So Valdis is going to attack around the corner again. That's a nice hit for... Now, Akihito... That will provoke 2 attacks of opportunity though. But he gets the +4 bonus from being around the corner. Ooh. It's armor class 17, so there is still 1 hit from a skeleton. This could be bad. 3 damage. So they get him. He's on -1 and on the floor. That was a mistake, potentially. Fenton's not going to do too much. Rinya... Well, I suppose both Fenton and Rinya can sort of take some steps backwards in order to try and let Yerrick through. There will be a shout of Undead at this point, so I'm sure that Yerrick knows that his turn Undead skills are required here. Can he see much at this? Oh, I think I might have dashed something here. No, I've just selected the wrong layer. He can see the skeleton over here. Let's take a look at how Turn Undead is actually working in the combat section, as far as I recall. Combat. Injury and death. We need to bookmark that for poor Akihito. Turn Undead. Now there is a slightly strange way of presenting the information here, where they do it sort of narratively, talking about first his player makes a turning check to see what the most powerful undead creature is that Josan can turn in this action. Range. You turn the closest turnable undead first, and you can't turn undead that are more than 60 feet away or that have total cover relative to you. So it would imply that the undead need to be able to see the cleric. Let's go back to the cleric section and see if it clarifies a little bit more how it works. Turn undead. It doesn't really... 139. It doesn't really explain that well, I would say. How, because, you know, in Pathfinder it explicitly you channel positive energy in a burst, which doesn't sort of go around corners. So you make a check to see the most powerful undead creature that can be turned. Next you roll the turning damage. Well, in the spirit of the game, I think that the creatures should be able to see the person that is turning them. He's going to stand there waiting to enter the room. This skeleton's going to take a 5-foot step forward and maybe come out of the room. Well, he'll do that and... yeah, he's going to provoke attacks. I'm going to say you can't really do... Can you do a 5-foot step there? With that wall in the way. I suppose there's no reason why not. So he can do that. He's going to turn his attention to Gothram. And he's going to make his 2 claw attacks. He's rolled 2 14s. Gotham's armor class is 15, so both miss. This anybody, but these ones will move up. Now I suppose that this one from here can try and make an attack at Valdis. One single attack. Valdis is armor class 17 if he's using the cover of the door. So that skeleton misses. Gotham is going to swing his mighty battle axe at the creature in front of him. But he misses, unfortunately. And this zombie is going to step forward. This is disastrous. I wonder what would have happened if we'd actually gotten into the room before any of this occurred. You might be able to actually, if you're flanking. Let's try and find Undead in the monster manual. See what it says about them. Okay, Undead. They're immune to poison, sleep, paralysis, stunning, disease, death effects, and necromantic effects, and they ignore mind-influencing effect. They are not subject to critical hits, subdual damage, ability drain, or energy drain. They have no constitution score, and are therefore immune to any effects requiring a fortitude save. I think you can sneak attack them. I don't see anything written under Undead that says that you cannot. I guess I will just quickly check the rogue itself to see if there is anything saying that you cannot sneak attack Undead. Shame. A rogue can only sneak attack a living creature with a discernible anatomy. So undead, constructs, oozes, plants, and incorporeal creatures lack vital areas to attack. So no sneak and attack. He can do a normal short sword attack though. He rolls a 16 plus 3 is 19, so that's going to hit. He's going to do no damage because he's got a piercing weapon. So he stabs his sword through the ribcage of the skeleton. Now Akihito is in the process of dying. Let's take a look at death in... Right, dying. When your character's current hit points drop to between -1 and -9, he's dying. He immediately falls unconscious and can take no more actions. At the end of each round, starting with the round in which the character dropped, also we should have done one already, roll a D percentage to see whether he stabilizes. He has a 10% chance to become stable. So we're looking at rolling a 10 basically on a D10. if a character's hit points drop below -10, he's dead. Right, so the round that he died, he failed, so he's lost 1 hit point. At the end of this round, he rolls an 8, so he's down 2 hit points here. Let's just uncover him. So Rinya, he could try and take a shot at this skeleton, but he's not going to bother. Yerick, I think, can attempt a turn undead now. We're just going to have a look at what he can see. There's 3 skeletons that he can see. Let's see how powerful charisma modifier. His charisma modifier is, what have we got? Charisma 13, so it's only +1. So 1d20 +1. He rolled a 3, so that means 4. That sounds like it's going to be very bad. 4 to 6. Cleric level -2. Undead creature whose hit dice exceed the result on the table. So in that case, the check failed. Terrible. And he's used up 1 thing. So he can actually turn undead 8 times per day. So he's used 1 already. Right. The skeleton is going to be attacking Dwarf Ranger again. 14 is the highest, and I think his arm class is 15. Yep, so no hits there. This one for him, so 15. So fails to hit, and the other 2 can't actually attack anybody. Gothram, he's going to attack the one in front of him with his battle axe. He hits for 7 damage, +3, so 10 damage, but it's a slashing weapon, so he only does half, so that's 5 damage. There's a +1 bonus to damage from the singing. That's a morale bonus. So I think that would count to take him down to 0. In order to speed this up a little bit, I think we'll do that anyway. Let's put the skeleton to the back so we can see Akihito below. The zombie cannot do anything at the moment. Valdis. He has a +3 on heal. He might try it to stabilize. Does that cause an attack of opportunity? That's the question. Let's go back to our player's handbook. Check out heal. If healing. Heal a dying friend. Causes an attack of opportunity. This one is going to be so he's doing poorly there. He's down to 2 hit points. It's going to be page 69. Oh yes, of course, the heal skill. Right, so first aid usually means saving a dying character. If a character has negative hit points and is losing hit points, you can make her stable. The character regains no hit points, but she does stop losing them. The check is a standard action. So it's going to be DC 15 to do that. Need to roll 12 or higher. We rolled a 16, so Akito is actually stable. Fenton continues to sing. I cannot do too much else at the moment, and neither will Rinya do too much, but maybe move up one for some reason. I think Jarek is going to move through. It's going to provoke from this one only, I think. He rolls a 13 against Jarek's armor class of 15, so that doesn't hit. But Jarek can now turn undead again, with the added advantage that all the undead can now be seen, thanks to the lamplight. Let's try another check then. So he gets +1 bonus to the check. He rolled a 5, that makes a 6. I think that's still useless. Do we have a better turn undead chart somewhere? Turn undead, right. Check result, 4 to 6 is Cleric. So he needs to roll a 10. At least. So that's another check used and nothing happened. Now positioning might not be good having Jarek there, but he's going to take the brunt of the attacks. First one in front of him, he rolls a 15 and 16, so that's 2 hits. Armor class 19 from round the corners. Luckily, both hit from those other 2 skeletons. Gothram is going to try and attack this one. He does hit for only 4 points of damage. So it's going to be 2 and then +1 for the morale bonus of damage. So 3 in total. I'm not sure if I'm calculating that correctly, if the extra +1 should be applied after the slashing damage, but that's how I'm doing it on this occasion. Valdis, I suppose, he'll do an aid another to give Gothram a +2 bonus to his armor class. So he rolls an 18, that's fine. Akihito is now stabilized. Fenton keeps singing his song. Rinya doesn't do too much, and Jarek is going to try and do another turn undead check. This time he rolls a 16 +1 is 17, that's much better. So, what does that mean? Let's just go to the turn undead section again. So 17 means cleric level +2 of the most powerful undead affected, right? So we're doing, so you roll a turning check to see how powerful the undead creatures you can turn. Okay. Turning damage. If your roll is high enough to let you turn at least some of the undead within 60 feet, roll 2d6 plus your cleric level. 2d6. That's 9. Plus cleric level, 10. Plus your charisma modifier, 11. And that's how many total hit dice of undead you can turn. Now, each of these undead has only... so zombies have 2. Skeletons have 1. So 1, 2, 3 from the skeletons, 4, 5, so they should all be turned, which means that they will flee. So flee and cower. So they'll go directly away from the cleric, I would say. And this one is going to provoke an attack of opportunity. So, Yerick, heavy mace, +2 to hit. He rolls an 11. +2 is 13, so it does hit for 1d8 +2 damage. Does not get reduced because it's a bludgeoning weapon, so he rolled an 8, 10, 11 damage. So that is actually going to kill that undead, that skeleton, thankfully. And he's actually on this pile by the door. And this one is going to attempt to flee as well. Now I don't know if they should be maybe walking a little bit quicker or running, but I'm just going to do it like this. Gothram is going to then take this opportunity to storm into the room and attack this skeleton from behind with his battle axe. Single attack, hits for 4, 7 damage. Let's divide that down to 3 and then +1. So that guy's on 2. Oh, the zombie should have moved at this point. Never mind. Valdis, I guess, will maybe spring into action here. And he's going to sheath his sword, maybe, in order to draw his short bow. So he'll do that. Akito is still unconscious. Fenton's going to move up here. And Rinya maybe will enter the room to sort of stand in the bottom corner like this. A lot more light in the room now. Can Gothram actually see? He can probably see the kobolds that are hiding in the next room, armed with spears. Yerick. Now he has some healing spells. He's going to want to heal himself or heal Akihito, because he has spontaneous casting. Let's, instead of magic weapon, we'll cast a Cure Light Wounds. (1d8 + 1, I believe. Cure Light Wounds. 1d8 + 1 per caster level, so 1d8 + 1 on himself. He rolls a 4, so he heals himself 5 points of damage. And then perhaps enters the room. Preparing to smite more undead. Point. Skeletons need to flee further, flee and cower, so he's going to hide in this corner. And he's going to come in here this is certainly going to alert the kobolds. Gothram will take a 5-foot step here, and this time maybe he'll use both of his attacks. We're going to do the green dice here for the battle axe and the white one for the short sword. Both hit. So 1d8 plus 1d6. 4 damage. Plus 3 for the battle axe. 7. Plus 1 for the short sword. 8. And he should be able to still hear Fenton. It's going to be 9 damage against the zombie here. The zombie will continue to flee, resulting in an attack of opportunity from Gothram. Hitting 4. 4 plus 3, 7. Plus 1 for the song. Killing the zombie as it attempts to escape. Valdus is going to draw his short bow, taking a 5-foot step, and see what he can actually see. He might just be able to see that kobold, but he's not certain of that. He's just going to sort of like prepare himself to shoot something. Akihito, he is still unconscious. Fenton's going to come into the room, still singing his jaunty song. He'll stand by the door here. And Rinya, he only has a long sword. Couldn't afford the bow yet. Have this imagination that he's actually going to wade into combat for some reason. Yerrick, he doesn't need to turn undead. What can he see? He can see that skeleton, so I guess that he would probably sort of like storm forward here in order to attack the skeleton and then potentially realise his mistake once he's in the room, but he'll be able to make the attack anyway. He rolls a 6, plus 2 is 8. It's not going to do anything. I think we're going to take a slight break there as we've gotten into the next room.